How to get a business loan for a trucking company extremely fast, even with bad credit. Hi, welcome into this video. My name is Michael from Viral Funding Solutions, and I will comprehensively show you, even go behind and give you a good look of these programs that are best suited for you so you can continue to get a new vehicle, more vehicles, right? Maybe you just need some repairs for other purposes, other projects you have. I'm going to get into that all in a moment. But before I get started, if you haven't watched any of my content on this channel and anywhere else, I release content like this on all small business loans with trucking financing, as well as many different industries with cash advances, building business credit the right ways, taking advantage of different opportunities as they come. So if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so and click that bell notification icon so you do not miss any future videos I come out with. Now let's get right into the thick of things. So our expectations, I always like to say this, they're up here, right? We look at the SBA loans, the EIDLs, we try to get a PPP, a grant, etc. Maybe we've gotten them, maybe we haven't. But we expect to get these great rates, these interest rates, these very, very long terms, this amount of funding, this amount of payback, etc. But we have to shift our expectations. Listen, if you can't get any of that, there are alternative options out there on the web. You've been denied by the banks time and time again. You can't turn to your savings. You can't turn to your friends and family for help anymore. Luckily, there's a solution, and I'm here to help you as a broker / agent. I'm here for your best interest at heart, and I've helped out many in the trucking industry. So let's start here. So you have many different solutions. I can get into the underwriting, I can get into the qualifications, how it works, etc. So I'm going to touch upon each and every single one of these lightly, and I'll have solutions for you down below, whether you're a complete startup or you're already progressing, you just need to grow and expand and get out of a tight pinch and so much more. But you have different services. You have the straight business term loans, right, where you can get a working capital amount. Maybe you have an expansion project, so you want to get a lump sum, right? Maybe you want a truck, but you don't want to get equipment finance / leasing or a form of that, but you want to get a lump sum and you may qualify for it. Well, I can show you those options. You can get a business line of credit, right, where you can withdraw the funds and use them whenever you need to. You have the more traditional sense, the equipment financing / leasing. That might be why you're watching this. You want a new truck, seeing if you can qualify for it. And let me just say this, if you're a complete startup with no revenue, no time in business, even no driving history, no ownership of the business or whatsoever, then it's going to be very difficult. But there are startup funding options, especially if you have at least 2+ years of driving experience, a mortgage, 100% ownership, etc. But if you need help with all of this, I'm going to leave an equipment contacting form down below. It won't hurt to just fill out some details. I'll email you back with your options and how I can help you. I've helped out so many, not only in trucking, but with other forms. Now, you have a business term loan where you can get a lump sum, like I said, you have a business line of credit, you can withdraw, and then traditional equipment financing and get on more of those monthly longer terms. That might be ideal what you're trying to go for. And so some of the qualifications we look at, if we're talking about just working capital, I'll get into the equipment side, but working capital, we want to give you at least 1 to 2x of your monthly. To qualify for that amount, we're looking at least 35,000, if not even better, 50,000 plus per month within each of the last 3 months, at least 2+ years in business, and then have a greater FICO credit score, in the 625, better to have 675 and above. These things are very crucial, especially in the trucking industry. Nowadays, the lenders have higher expectations, and they've gone away from, getting you the basic amount of funding and what you can qualify for because of COVID and because of what they're seeing in seasonalities and all these changes. They don't want to just give you a loan because anything can happen in the trucking industry. I've seen it all the time. I'm helping out a lot. I have friends and family. It's not easy to, and I get it. I've been in your position, not specifically with like driving trucks and all that, but with understanding all these different businesses and what they need and having shadowed and seen it all. So those are some of the qualifications for a lump sum. There might be some equipment financing companies that don't have a revenue requirement, but they want to have stronger credentials, like stronger credit history, 625 and above, 2+ years of driving experience, and a few other things in the mix. The greater time you have in business, the more revenue, the greater the credit score, the much better of an offer you're going to get. I have people to this day who have strong revenue, they have the time in business, but maybe their credit score is lacking, or it could be revenue and then credit score is good, or vice versa, or the same. So it's better to have all these 3 things together, and then you can put something down, especially with equipment financing if you have some form of If you're a complete startup, like 10 to 25%, and usually 15 to 25% if you have time in business. It can be like 10 to 15, 10 to 20%. It just depends on the file that we're looking at. If you need just general repairs, like I have a lot of people coming to me, then I'm going to show you some of these options. But let me get on the screen now. But before actually I do that, just some general things for equipment financing, just underwriting, documenting processes. Might just need a voided check, copy of your driver's license to upload, and then just 3+ months of bank statements and so forth. We can take it from there. From equipment financing, they are things like invoice of the equipment or a link of the URL where you saw that equipment, depends on the lenders and the programs, driver's license, voided check, etc. Some documentation of that vehicle. And I won't go into depth on how all that works, but I can help you with this. And then some recent bank statements will be helpful. Now, let me get into the share screen to show some of these options. So there are many of them. And again, I have a 5+ startup funding solutions for trucking down below. I'll leave. So make sure you look at that document you can have for free. Number one, and this is more of a lump sum that you can get. And you can also get a business line of credit now with Lvrg Capital Inc. They're an amazing service, a great brokerage who can provide you with the best lenders. One of my favorite places to come to. They very thoroughly go through everything and they give you the best solution for getting a lump sum in a hybrid merchant cash advance where they don't take a future percentage of your credit card receivables. We don't do any of that. It's generally 50% less expensive. Again, if this is what you want as a lump sum for the repairs, for any other purposes, marketing, advertising, even for a truck, if you qualified for it, if you can get a lump sum and pay it off that way, that's the way to go for you. And there's so many other reasons you can use this. There's also a business line of credit. You can withdraw funds and use it as you go. We have an up to $25,000 program with same-day instant approval. It's a great one to go to with just $5,000+ monthly bank revenue within each of the last 3 months, just 6+ months in business, a 450+ FICO, right? That's really poor. And then we also have an up to $2 million program you can get quick funding with. They don't exactly do at the moment. We used to have equipment financing/leasing. If you're looking for that type of format, I'll show you some of those options. But this is a great avenue to go through if you're trying to get just a lump sum of working capital with no interest rates, no collateral, no hard credit checks. That's right. We calculate on total payback. Great lenders and early payback rewards. And this revenue-based funding is amazing. Number two, this is more of a traditional equipment financing/leasing program. This is called Lvrg Capital. It's one of the superior, one of the top-notch programs out there if you're looking for any type of trucking financing or any other type of business type of equipment, and you would like to take that kind of leasing model where you can pay it off in more years. And so this is on the table for you. And then you can get up to 1.5 million for new and used technology and fast service as far as working capital goes. There's a little section of that, but it doesn't focus as highly on that. It's a lot of the traditional financing that you would expect for equipment. So that I'm going to leave more information to down below. You can check out the description and it'll be a piece of video content. You can see a review I did for them. Now that again isn't going too in depth to show you what that actual video is, but it'll be down below in the description, as well as the one here for like Lvrg Capital Inc. and then their Bank Greasy program, as well as their line of credit now that they have. So you can check that out, which goes more in depth. And then number three, this is like for startup funding. So if you are in the trucking business as a startup, maybe you have no time in business, no revenue being generated, maybe your credit history isn't as desirable, then you can look at Lendio as an option for business owners with bad credit. Why is this a great solution? It's an online marketplace. I do have some downsides to you going to an online marketplace because they don't always give you the clear picture. And again, they don't always personalize and customize everything, but at least you get a bird's eye view and you get to see what your best options are when you go there. And once again, to get in contact, one of the best ways is to fill out this equipment financing funding form. That'll be down below in the description. It'll look like this more or less. And then I also have this funding submission form for all types of business funding. You can also submit it here, give me some additional notes, use of funds, etc. It'll come to my email and then I can email you back as well. And then on another note, you can pick up this free 6-step pre-approval lending checklist that'll thoroughly show you how to walk into an application and know with 110% confidence and certainty that you will be approved without wasting time. We're talking about days, weeks, months, and even years of sifting through old, outdated, scammy type of information, stuff that just doesn't work, right? It's fluff and it's theory-based. I've cut all that out through the experience, and you can pick this up. It'll be down below again in the description. So let's continue back into this. So we just went in through Lendio. Sometimes they're not as desirable. You have to be careful because again, they don't show you the best picture. They don't always have the best lenders. They just have people who bid a lot and they just appear on their platform. And I speak about that in other forms of content. But all of this, again, you can find down below. It's a great online marketplace, especially for startups. And again, there's no true quote unquote startup funding if you have no revenue. But I've left these 5+ startup funding options. Let me just quickly go through these. You have grants like the USDA, the ALISC, the NAV, and then you have the NASE, FedEx, SB8AA, Lendio, crowdfunding, friends and family, business lines of credit possibly. And there's just some more ways: business credit, equipment financing, inventory financing, 401k and IRA financing, securities financing, then Upstart, which is a peer-to-peer lending platform. I do want to touch very quickly on the business credit side. So this is what I recommend the most, not only in the trucking industry, but all types, that if you don't have any type of revenue being generated and you can spend some time building up your credit, then this is going to open up trade lines for vendor programs. And then that can open up even higher credit limits, although they might not be as high as business lines of credits. But you can look at that, and I have a free video series you can pick up down below in the description. But let's continue moving on here. Go Capital. This is a great one here too. And they've helped out people also with poor, bad credits, fair credits. I know, like I said in the beginning of this video, nowadays it's like they are requiring a higher credit score, some type of revenue. The amount of time in business you have and even driving experience is up there 1+, even better 2+, the more the better. And Go Capital is a great solution to go through. And I have them actually opened up here on another tab for equipment financing purposes. If I go over here, and I made a separate video to this too. I should link down below in the description, so it'll be there. So make sure to check this out. But let me quickly run through this, and then I will go through some quick qualifications, and then we'll round up this video. So let's wait for this to load. It's taking a second. While that's happening, I'm going to switch on over here. So Go Capital here, you can apply online really quickly, qualify instantly, and then you get a fast loan approval. And even if you're not looking for a traditional equipment financing type of leasing situation, again, they can provide you with revenue/MCA based loans / cash advances. So here are some details: loan amounts that they range from $30,000 to $5 million, 1 to 5 year loan terms, which is going to give you more than enough time to pay that back. And we're usually very reasonable of what we can finance you if you have the right funding solutions and everything, and the criteria looks good. 3 to 5 business days to fund. So it is exceptionally fast when you consider all the landscape of all types of equipment financing programs. 6% to 35% interest ranges. Now, I know you're looking at that right now and probably thinking, well, that's a little too high. Can we get it on the lower end? Like I tell everybody, if you have good funding details, we can work to getting you something better. So it doesn't necessarily mean you'll get the highest, and it doesn't necessarily mean you get the lowest. I just don't want to set your expectations there. It just depends on what we look at the file. Some people get really good, others just have to go bargain with that, because you might have strong revenue, like I said, but your credit score is really what will determine that, and it could be vice versa. And then there's just some details in there. You can check them out. I'll link to it down below in the description, but I highly recommend you go to them as a great solution, especially those who don't get funding here through Everlasting Capital. Generally, Go Capital is another one, but it can be the primary one, and a lot of people come through there. But over here is where I have this screen opened up for financing new or used equipment, and just loan amounts, 3 to 5 days, 1 to 5 years, ranging from that amount. And again, the description will be down below. So we're going to round up just by going through these last options rather quickly, and then we'll go on our way. So you have number 6 here, national funding with a FICO score of 620, 5K to 50,000 in financing. You can get it over if you have 1 year of time in business and 100,000 in sales. There we go. That's one. That's number 7 here. Good Capital offer bank and SBA financing up to million, 650 FICO credit score. Alternative financing options if you have less than a 600 FICO. And then you can pick up that free 6-step proof lending checklist. Number 8, Fundera. Similarly, not exactly the same as Lendio, but you can kind of just see comparisons and stuff like that. Kind of like the Merchant Mavericks of the world in a way. Number 9, Headway Capital, 1 year in business, 50,000 in annual revenue. You can get credit lines up to 100,000 for 12, 18, or even 24 months, which these are shorter terms. Just keep this in mind, that if you're looking for a lump sum, there are these options that are shorter, that are just like an MCA or a cash advance. Business term loan is another word we can try to use for them. We have short term, medium, and then long term. Just depends on what you qualify for. And a lot of these have soft credit pools, so it wouldn't hurt for you to put in an application. Like I tell everybody, the best way to really get on with things is just to put in an application to see what you can get approved for. And then I'll be here along the process to help you out with the lenders and then the underwriting process. So then you have Headway Capital, as we just said. Number 10, we have Clarify Capital. And then this platform, they will offer you things like term loans. You have lines of credit. They do invoice factoring. And then I'll show you some other programs if you're interested in invoice factoring, where you can use customer receipts. It's kind of taking out funding from those. You turn those in, you get funding from an invoice factoring company. Equipment financing, like I've said numerous times already, traditionally. Working capital loans, merchant cash advances, all up to $750,000. So it's one of those upper end loan amounts on our list that you're going to see today. Number 11, this is Lvrg Llc. You can get cash flow financing, working capital, revenue-based type of funding, business lines of credit, term loans, and then cash advances up to $5 million in funding. And then here's more: 6 months time in business, $10,000 a month in revenue. Lvrg is not helping startups, but they will help you with credit since they focus on revenue mostly. Number 12, On Deck. So this is a good one for a lot of like the lump sum amount that you are trying to get. A lot of the times they work with shorter times of terms. So term loans up to 36 months, we'll say, but sometimes it can be from up to like 24 months in most cases, up to 100,000 in financing, and they also have credit lines available. So if you have better credit lines, you can get a loan and a credit line. And this is the first source that actually gives you cash flow based financing. And that's another thing you can do is, like with our programs and our lenders, they can give you a lump sum and then you can get a business line of credit because they don't have the same positioning like with cash advances. So you get one and then you get another one from a different company. You have a second or third, fourth position. If you get a line of credit instead, they don't they're not in conjunction. Number 13, you have Fundbox. This is a great credit line program. It's one of the more innovating ones and one of the more, I'd like to say, more technology based, kind of like the future. Not saying it's the only one, but they do invoice factoring up to 100,000, revenue up to 100,000 as well. All they look at is your bank account and don't need these bank statements. And then we have 14 is Express Capital. You can get working capital loans with 1 to 12 month short terms, 5.9% rates, up to 150,000 in financing. You have equipment financing, and then be in business for at least 1 year, 50,000 in annual revenue. And then Express Capital is it. Number 15, we have Fast Upfront. Here you're getting unsecured business loans with financing up to 250,000. And here's just some more details. Bad credit can be okay, no collateral. They ask for 3 to 4 months of revenue and merchant account statements, and then a 550 credit score is approved. No startups. Top mark funding, specifically for the trucking industry that do semi-truck financing and leasing. You can get approved with very little money down and up to 500,000, and get up to 3 years in terms for longer terms. I know it's not those like 1 to 5 like you'd get for like Go Capital. Again, I'd recommend Everlasting Capital, and Go Capital is like the top up there with David Allen Capital, especially if you're not looking for some traditional equipment financing at the moment. As we know, it's not there, but it could change in time. So that's their additional lending sources. You have Rapid Finance, SBA, EIDLs, transportation grants, and then I just talk about how to get lower payments. If you're asking this, it's such a common thing when you're getting these longer terms and you want to lower interest. It's just, again, comes back to your funding profile, revenue-wise. Well, how much time in business, how much driving experience do you have? How is the setup of your business look? And it's very important to have built, especially with like equipment type of stuff, when we check creditworthiness, your business credit profile. That's why I said it's really important you do that. And if you need help, pick up the free video series that's down below in that description. So focus on getting longer terms and on interest. So if you really want to have low payments but have higher interest rates, then go for longer terms. So you can make sure you pay back your amount with the least amount per day or per month, and with the least amount of stress that's possible. Because I know I see a lot of applications that do come in, a lot of them did come in today, that then get sent over to our underwriters, then our lenders see it, then we all like just communicate, so I'll get sent back to me, and then I have to communicate this back with you, like I've already done with people. And so when these details get finalized, a lot of the times we want to think about, well, what can be different? We're trying to go for different places and try to get different offers, and that might not be your best interest, because like I tell everybody, if you're getting multiple offers from different places, a lot of lenders can see this in their system, and then they can withdraw. They might not give you anything at all, or they might give you a reduced amount. That's just what happens, and I've seen it. So you have to be careful there. So those are just some final thoughts to end this video. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please voice them to me down below in the description or in the comment section again. And then if you want to see these 5 startup funding options for trucking and all else, here's the equipment form you can fill out once more. And then you have the business funding form again that many people have been submitting over on the Viral Funding Solutions site. That's mine. And then you have the free 6-step pre-approval lending checklist, as well as more options for you on the table. But that is everything from me. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so and click that bell notification icon so you haven't missed any future videos that I will be coming out with. Thanks. Bye.